Welcome back, everybody, to the Stark Wars podcast, where we talk all things Marvel, Star Wars, and everything in between. Please take a moment to check our show notes to find our social media, merch, and more. Today, we are recapping The Bad Batch Episode 3, The Solitary Clone, and full spoiler details. So if you haven't seen the episode, I would get out of here. And I'm here with a guy who's just trying and begging to become an independent podcaster, but I'm not letting him. I'm the Imperial podcaster, Tommy Pizzullo. How's it going?
I'm good. Yeah, I was out there for 32 rotations and I thought I finally got away, but then you picked me back up. Now I'm back in the biz.
How did he manage to do that? Like, is this like a Castaway situation? Was it like fishing? Like, I mean, I assume third rotations are days, right?
Yeah, that's a long time. I assume he definitely got into fishing with this like sniper. Do you think he sniped fish out of the water?
That'd be the way to do it, I guess.
Did he have a Wilson? Like a little like a like a stormtrooper helmet that was like he was talking to.
Yeah. He's got the bloody hand mark on like Finn's helmet. There you go. We do have a guest here today. Somebody who's become a good friend over on our Instagram, makes some really incredible content over on Instagram. It is our good buddy, Danny Fandoms. Danny, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic, guys. I am ready to talk some Bad Batch with y'all.
Yes, Danny. I want to get your opinions here on the Bad Batch as a whole, but season 2 as well. What have you thought thus far? 3 episodes in.
First 2 episodes. I mean, you're just back in the mix, so I thought it was just a really nice reintroduction to the Bad Batch, a bit of a Adventure of the Week style, but good to see where they are picking up after last season. But this episode, I thought was fantastic. I thought the writing was amazing. The animation, well, I would just say Bad Batch overall, season 1 and season 2, the animation is just incredible. And then just really getting in to this behind the scenes of what other clones are thinking outside of the Bad Batch. We know about Crosshair. Obviously, we know about Rex and Hauser, some other ones. But to see Cody and to hear about other clones going AWOL, oh my gosh, it has just been getting so good. And again, only the 3rd episode, and we're already getting stuff like this. I'm really excited to see how the rest of the season goes.
Danny, I couldn't have said it better myself. I loved it. Tommy, I don't know about, we can catch up on last week. I know we didn't talk, but I was kind of shaking in my boots a little bit. I made a deal with you. I said that you're going to love Bad Batch season 2. And this first 2 episodes, I was like, I don't think Tommy's going to like this at all, but I would like to. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
I hated them. I hated the first 2, Michael. But I loved this episode.
Yes.
I think this was exactly what the show needs. And I think it's my issue with Bad Batch is I don't love the Bad Batch. I loved because to me, the Bad Batch are just like the rebels. But what's more interesting is the people that are still in the Empire, the soldiers that are still there. I would take a whole show just about these people, the people that are still like trying to justify following orders and how far are you willing to go for your crew. So yeah, I thought this episode was excellent.
Danny, I want to get your take on this because this is something we've talked about, right? Like, I think Tommy and I, we love and respect Omega. Personally, I think my favorite original character from the show is Crosshair, which ironically, this is the Crosshair episode. But Danny, I want to get a take from you. Like the other Bad Batchers, they kind of blend together for us. We don't really have who's your favorite Bad Batcher?
I think you already touched on it. It is right here. It is Omega. I love Omega. Not gonna lie, I do really enjoy just the whole Bad Batch as a group together. They come in season 7 of Clone Wars, and you're kind of thinking, who are these Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle clones? That's basically what they are. You got the leader, you got the big hulking guy, you got the more serious one. But and you see them do their elite missions, and I just really enjoyed the adventure of it. It feels like there was like a lot of opportunity for them. But then we only got 4 episodes with them. I thought they were just kind of push them off to the side and then announcing a whole season. Like, where can this go? Where can this really, really go? But I've had some fun with it. It's been interesting to see. And obviously pulling in little cameos in season 1, Cad Bane, Ming-Na Wen's character, Fennec Shan. And then this season with Cody, and who knows who will get down the line. But overall, my favorite is Omega, just because again, it was just such a surprise to have this little inquisitive character. And I think I think she's inquisitive and curious without overdoing it. In my opinion, if you ask me about that character, I like to see her learn and, learning the stuff with the crossbow, learning stuff about the ships, and her little interactions with each of the other Bad Batchers. I think that's been really interesting to watch.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I'm down to dive into this episode here. Again, the episode is titled "The Solitary Clone." Let's, Tommy, let's start here. Solitary Clone. Who is it? Is it Crosshair or? I think that's the great thing about this episode is like there's a lot of mirrors from both sides. But do you think it refers to Crosshair or Cody or both?
I think both. But I think more like the one that I see more like right here crystallized is Cody, because I think this is very much a Cody, obviously coming to terms with his decision at the end. But I think it's the start of Crosshair is like feeling the solitary clone. He lost Bad Batch. He had Cody that he's like, we know each other. Now he's alone too, but like in opposite ways that Cody was alone.
All right, so here's my pitch. And Danny, maybe you'll have to break the tie here. I think it has to do with Crosshair, and I've got a couple of reasons. First, one of the first shots we get of him, he's in the cafeteria, and nobody wants to sit with him. He's quite literally solitary in the cafeteria. But also, I think a lot of it, in all seriousness, I think it works both ways. But I wanted to shine some light on the Crosshair stuff. Danny, I didn't know if you had an opinion on that.
As far as the solitary clone, yeah, I would say it much refers to Crosshair. Like you said, he's there by himself eating, and then he doesn't even get to finish to eat. He gets called into the principal's office twice now. So, I would think it refers to Crosshair. And as far as Cody, I don't really think so, just because it looks like he had just fallen in line with Order 66. I think he was still in command of a group of clones going in probably in the time between end of season 7 up to now. He's probably just been doing his thing with the Empire. So I would say Crosshair's the one that still feels as a loner, since he's not a reg like the rest of them, and actually never really got to interact with regs much at all throughout his time as a soldier.
All right, well, let's dive into the episode. And the first scene we get here is Governor Groton, who lands on the planet of Desix. And they're basically like, hey, we're taking over the planet. And we get the governor, Tawny. I'm fairly certain this is a new character. I should have looked this up because there seems to be like a lot of characters that I like overlook, or maybe they're in a book or something. But and what was the weird thing was she's got this helmet on the whole time. And there's a moment where she like rips the helmet off and is like, I was like, am I supposed to know who you are? But yeah, I think it's a new character. Yeah,
I think so too. I definitely didn't recognize her, but I agree with you. That mask moment was like, it felt like they wanted us to, or at least like it's like, it's emotional now. You see my face. I don't know. It was definitely like supposed to be an impactful moment. It didn't hit me as much as I think they wanted it to.
I think it kind of felt like the Enfys Nest moment in Solo, where like just kind of rip off the helmet. Well, that one actually carried more weight because you see how young the leader of this group is in reference to Enfys Nest. Whereas this one, they take off the helmet. I guess just to show that it's more of a personal war. I guess like she's trying to help her planet and show that she's the governor, and that she doesn't want the Empire coming in and overtaking their rule when they already established that they're independent, rather than just being a faceless character. And even just for the audience, seeing the face, seeing the emotion and the motives throughout the episode makes that connection much more strong.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I do love here we get the battle droids. She calls in for backup, and I don't, it's kind of nice seeing them back. And I do think it's a good parallel to what Cody says later in the episode, where he says the difference between us and the droids is we make our own choices. And like so much of the story with the battle droids is like they're literally just following commands. There's the tactical droid that's just telling them what to do. So I thought it was a really smart move to bring them in here.
Yeah, it brought me back to that. I can't remember what, if it was Clone Wars or Bad Batch. I think it was Clone Wars, where they had that episode where they had the clones fighting the battle droids that still thought they were at war. It reminded me of that. Like, oh, we're back. We have the tactical droid. I miss the. I think the battle droids need more content, more battle droids. I love them.
You've said this before. You like the humor they bring, right?
So funny. In the right dose. I think sometimes they overload us with battle droid humors. Like, I think they realized it was like when a dad realizes that his jokes are funny, and then they're like, yes, let me throw you with more battle droid humor. But yeah, I enjoy them from time to time.
Yeah, just to piggyback off that, I mean, I had heard someone else that this episode, even though it's a Bad Batch and it's moving farther along, getting obviously closer to Empire Rebellion time, this episode really felt just like another episode of Clone Wars, clones versus battle droids. You kind of get that nostalgia, which is really fun. And then, yeah, like you said, battle droids always just bring some humor a lot in the Clone Wars, and then obviously now, and I don't think it ever gets old, if you ask me, because I think they've been smart about it, doing it in just enough the right dose.
Yeah. And it wasn't a heavy-handed here at all. So I'm not upset at all. So let's go back here. We kind of touched on some of the stuff, Crosshair's in the cafeteria. He's sitting, nobody wants to sit with him. He gets called to the principal's office, and Rampart is like, well, I guess Crosshair says that, so who's my squad? Who am I commanding? He's like, you're not commanding anybody. There's another commander we all know. Commander Cody will be taking over. And, he also mentions, he was stuck on that Kamino platform for 32 days. Danny, did you have any thoughts on that? What's the theory? I mean, that's wild. That's pretty cool. I feel like that's a lost episode of Bad Batch that I want to see.
Yeah, for sure. The thing about that is just that, like, we already seen the Bad Batch. We know they have special skills, all of them. I just think knowing that they're supposed to be these elite clones with more skills in certain areas than the rest of the regs, I think it's easy to see that each of them could hold their own, surviving out in the wilderness, surviving out in the waters of Kamino. So that's all I could really think, is maybe he's out there, he's fishing, he's taking down maybe some stuff that flies out of the sky, sharpshooting it. That's all I can really think about. But yeah, I think it would be interesting to see that in an episode.
Yeah. So we do meet Cody here. Interesting that he's no longer wearing the orange armor. It's like darker. I'm curious if that has like anything to do with like the character now. Maybe he's more upset with the situation he's in. But they do end up talking a lot about how other regular clones are turning on the Empire, which, Tommy, this is an interesting choice, I would think, because I feel like, thus far we've really been led to believe that like there's, the chip switches and that light switch stays on. The light switch doesn't fall back down. So I don't know. Do you have a read on this?
Yeah, I thought this was interesting. I think it does make me nervous of like, it opens the door of like they're aware that something, like they've made a choice that maybe them personally wouldn't have made. Like with Cody specifically, it's like, he's in the episode making peaceful things, but it's like, how do you justify this one choice that is so drastically different than what you normally would do, even if you are following orders? I think it's interesting, like I said, that like they know there's more of them dropping. They don't know why that people are, leaving. I like I said, I think I'm nervous with it. I think it was a cool twist having the chips in the first place, and I think the more they're focusing on it, there's more like questions that I have now.
The way I kind of saw was like with this and like with each clone still obviously having a personality. I mean, they're obviously following the Empire, but I think they're just following the orders that they're given. I feel like Order 66 or the chip really just had to do with the Jedi, and I think having Palpatine control them for that purpose. And then other than that, it's like, I've been fighting for the Republic. The Republic's just shifting. I'm still a soldier in this army, and they kind of don't see the difference until more stuff happens. Obviously, they're going to see the tyranny of the Empire, and they're going to start questioning if they're on the right side. I want to just go back real quick and say, speaking of Cody, did anyone see that? I believe it was a tweet. Maybe they put it on Instagram as well. But Star Wars put out a poster of like a whole bunch of clones in a row, or like in a whole poster in a collage, and it says 6 familiar faces coming soon. Did anyone see that tweet, that poster? No,
I missed it.
Yeah. So it's like one of those puzzles where it's like, a bunch of, I don't know, let's say a bunch of yellow dots, and it's like, where's Pikachu? And like, you got to look really close. This is like, where's the Bad Batch in this whole group of clones? And it's like, so you can make out, and they say specifically, there's 6 familiar faces. So of course it's Hunter, Wrecker, Crosshair, Tech, Echo, and Omega. But it was actually 7 in there. Cody is actually in that poster, and you just very hard to see him, but you see a clone with a little scar over his eye and the little like insignia that gives him his rank on the chest. And it was like very clever that they didn't even say that there was 7 in there, like letting you know that's someone else. It's just, if you caught it, you caught it. But so for some people who saw that, like, I don't think it was any indication that Cody would be coming in this episode, but he would be coming this season. So I thought that was interesting. But no, going back, I think that quote from Cody about being different from battle droids is that they get to make their own decisions. I think that is going to start at least a little bit of second guessing in Crosshair, because he is acting like a droid. He is following orders blindly. He's not really making his own decisions. But then, there's stuff we'll talk about further in the episode that he does that sends like, maybe he just believes in the Empire and there's nothing more to it, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, that's my problem, Danny, of like, I want to believe that Crosshair is going to come home at some point. He's going to come back to the Bad Batch. They're setting some seeds, but at the same time, he seems like he likes being part of the Empire. He seems like he loves it. And like, it's hard for me to reckless. I'm like, everything is pointing you in the direction to leave Crosshair, and yet you're like, I had to follow orders. Like, this is he's like the most rule following clone I've seen.
Yeah, Tommy, this is like the Mon Mothma thing that we talked in Andor. Like, what is the thing that's going to turn that person? Like, because, I mean, I guess the difference is we know where Mon Mothma ends up. We don't know where Crosshair ends up, but we can kind of guess it might be going in that direction. And it's like, what is going to be that like last straw for him? And I think that's going to be something interesting to track this season. So, let's move on here. We kind of talked about this face reveal of Tani. There's another interesting line here where Tani says that Dooku warned her that the Empire or the Republic would turn evil. And I was like, I kind of like that, especially coming right off the Tales of the Jedi, where you kind of see a different side of Dooku where, like, yes, he kind of turned evil, but there were reasons that he felt that way. And like you kind of saw a bit more of the light side of Dooku, and I feel like this is like another glimpse at that, where like, he didn't necessarily trust them fully.
Is this the year of Dooku? I feel like this is the most Dooku we've done in so long. Like, they gave us the tales, and he's been mentioned in at least 2 episodes of this show. Are they going to do something with Dooku? I don't know. It just is like interesting, and now they're having him be like mentioned just nonchalantly by someone else. It never happened before, I feel like.
Yeah, I thought it was like really interesting that they have brought up Dooku quite a lot this year, like you said. But just like in Tales of the Jedi, we're seeing that like how Dooku, and I'll even throw Qui-Gon in there, and Ahsoka, how they each feel something wrong with the Jedi Order, but of course Ahsoka just kind of leaves and goes her own path. Dooku goes toward the dark side. And in the end, it's like that meme. It's like, why are you booing me? I'm right. Count Dooku's like, Attack of the Clones. He's telling Obi-Wan, like, the Republic is under the command of a Sith Lord. You should join me. And, of course, Obi-Wan doesn't believe him. He's telling people the Republic will become the Empire. No, it doesn't appear like anything was really done about that. I mean, I don't think Dooku was right I should actually say a lot of his ways of thinking, but he was starting down a path that maybe a little more people should pay more attention to.
Yeah, well said.
We're going to see the hashtag Dooku was right. It's going to start coming up all over the place.
Tommy, is that the Jar Jar follow-up?
Yeah.
The deep dive into Jedi Dooku.
I mean, I'm not opposed. I don't know.
We'll see. Okay. So we also see where the group here is showing up in a shuttle. The shuttle gets shot down, and the droids are scourging the wreckage, and they get ambushed by Crosshair and Cody. And there's a cool scene here where they kind of distract this tank, and Crosshair. There's like a lot of stuff in this episode that like, it seems like such an easy solution, but it's also really cool. Crosshair shoots a bullet down the barrel of the tank and blows it up, which this was such a cool moment. Very tense the way they built it up with the music and how you had to line up the shot. I love this. This is why I love Crosshair. He's just cool.
Crosshair's got, he's there's something like you just said. There's coolness about him. I think there's a lot you can do with a sniper, and like with I think a lot of times with the other weapons, blasters, there's only so much you can do. Like you shoot them. I thought this was really cool. All these action shots with Crosshair. Should we just have a Crosshair series?
Maybe like a mini movie.
Like a little special, yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah. I was gonna say that in regards to this. I mean, this is just going back to the beautiful animation of I would say from Lucasfilm animation since season 7 of the Clone Wars. Because season 7, awesome. Bad Batch season 1, Tales of the Jedi. Now going into Bad Batch season 2, this animation has just been so good and giving such awesome shots of like characters with walls of fire behind them or framing 2 characters in battle. And one shot in particular here is they're trying to distract this tank, and the tank is overshooting Crosshair, so there's explosions in the background, and then there's just a close-up of Crosshair bringing up his rifle, his matte black armor, which just looks so cool, the green visor, and bringing it up. And I just wanted that like as a lithograph, as a nice print. I want to frame it up, just him with the rifle, explosions going off in the background, put it up in the background. I think that would just be so cool.
Yeah, no, that is awesome. There are some things in this episode though that were a little weird to me, and it reminds me of like the old G.I. Joe cartoons where like you will see like somebody like throw a grenade and like all the main characters blow up, and like the next scene they're all fine, or somebody gets shot in the arm and like the next scene they're fine. There was like 2 or 3 shots of them like blowing up multiple clones. Like the droids were shooting grenade launchers at these clones. They were like flying through the air, and then we'd cut to them and like they're all fine again. I'm like, what happened? But yeah, again, I think that's just like some of the charm of an animated show. I guess I couldn't get a grasp on how many clones were there to begin with. So.
I mean, maybe it's just a plethora of maybe it's a different group of clones, but they just threw them out there. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
It's a nitpick, a very nitpicky thing to bring up.
Maul was cut in half and came back. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Star Wars, no, you can always come back.
No one's ever really gone.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Yeah.
Okay, so so like I said, they're kind of infiltrating this fortress, and they're killing droids. I like this moment where they find a family, and Cody stops and says, "Hey, we're here to help. It's okay." Which is like, that's like, again, showing Cody, like, you've never heard like a stormtrooper or a bad clone ever say anything like this. And it just goes to show that like there's still humanity in him, that like they weren't necessarily in danger, but they were afraid, and he was able to calm them down, which again, I think it's just one more nice little touch to his final decision at the end. So, okay, there was another cool moment here where what are these droids called? The one with the shields. When I was a kid, I called them the roly-poly droids.
Droidicas?
Droidicas, thank you. So there was another cool moment where they end up shooting this clone. The clone falls into the shield, blowing up to destroy the droidica. And again, it's like, how have we never seen that happen before? Because it's like, again, such a simple solution, but just so cool.
And I think it's blown them completely apart of like that's all you need to do from now on. Just throw dead bodies at them. Easy. Done. You don't have to fight them. Just take all your dead bodies and throw them at the droids.
My only thing I could say about that is that like they were moving through this castle, fortress, whatever it is, and like so they're all kind of in close quarters. Mainly when you see these droidicas in other stuff, it's like they're far away. There's 2 battalions, clones and battle droids moving in closer. Like that's the only thing I could think of. But yeah, when I thought about like they just they come up with more creative ways now. That's the whole thing with the Empire. They're more creative. Obviously, they just no, nothing is wasted. Not even a dead clone body.
Yeah. So again, I'm kind of like gushing over the action in this episode, but this next scene here has another one that I really love. Crosshair has these mini mirror pucks that he throws on the wall and uses it to reflect his blasters, which is so incredible. And we kind of get, we see him use it a couple times, and then he gives Cody one. Cody runs up the stairs, he throws it, and Crosshair like angles the bullet off 2 different mirror pucks while one is in the air and kills like the tactical droid upstairs, which I mean, again, come on, like this is like Boba Fett level cool right here.
Yeah, I mean the action in this episode, it was, I mean, it's 90% action, but it was so. If you're gonna do mostly action, you have to make it interesting, and I think like I can't do that. I can't even shoot a bullet straight, let alone having it bounce off a bunch of stuff.
I'd have to like find where the safety is, like it'd be a whole
ordeal.
This is like totally going off a little tangent here, but there was like a board game that I remember playing, and you would have like a little laser pointer on one side, and you would play almost like chess with your friend and put your mirrors across the board to try to hit their target. That's what it reminded me of. It's like Crosshair would be really good at that game, but no, man, it makes for like some awesome action and shows like the different specialities of the Bad Batch group. Obviously, Crosshair, they call him Crosshair for a reason. He's a good sniper. He's good with a blaster. But now, when you actually see it in person, I think it's just a really good job of showing off his skills.
Yep. So they do end up getting upstairs and they find Tani, and Tani has a Groton hostage here, and Cody is pleading his case to Tani, and he's like, listen, there doesn't have to be bloodshed, there doesn't have to be war, we've been through this before, it doesn't have to continue. And Tani ends up letting Groton go, and then Groton says kill her, and Cody hesitates, and Crosshair steps in and takes care of it. So like, damn, Crosshair, no chill.
I thought that Cody's pitch wasn't that great. I don't know if I'm Tani, I'm asking for more reassurances than just like, hey, can we do this peacefully? And then she gave away her chip right away. They had no reason to keep her alive at that point. I thought that like that's the only nitpick, but yeah, I mean this whole thing, the Crosshair is just being cutthroat there and just being like, hey, gotta follow orders. It was so good.
I think it's just like it shows the good nature of Tani and all, and believing that like, okay, I think if it's thinking that like the Empire is just heavy-handed or iron-fisted rather, and then saying, oh look, someone's actually trying to negotiate. Obviously, she can see the rank, she can see he's a commander, someone higher up. So it's like, okay, maybe we can talk this out, and just being unfortunately too trusting in this circumstance, because with Groton telling her just not even taking this clone commander's word to try and resolve this peacefully. Just, hey, she held me hostage, get rid of her. But I did see something online, and just a small theory that like maybe Crosshair did it, fired the shot that killed Tani to save Cody, really, because Cody looked like he was going to step down, maybe lay down his blaster, not follow the order. And if the Empire gets wind of that, I mean, we saw what happened in the second episode of this season, where it's like, hey, you're going to fall off a cliff. You're not going to be heard from again because you didn't follow orders. So maybe Crosshair kind of ended it hoping to have some sort of relationship there with Cody, to have a partner in crime, to have someone, because I mean, like we said, he's the solitary clone. Maybe he's looking for someone that he can connect with, at least one person, but I guess we'll see where that goes.
Fascinating. No, I could totally see that. And I don't think we're done with this relationship here. I think that something like that could totally have some big payoff.
Yeah, no, I really like that theory, because especially like in this next scene, felt like there was something more with Crosshair seemed a little taken aback at Cody. You know, like there was definitely more to that relationship. I think he felt like it was someone he could finally like. He's not doesn't have to be alone anymore. There was a little bit of that.
Yeah. So after this, we see where they are taking full control over the planet, and we get this shot. Danny, I want to get your opinion on this. I mean, it's not necessarily set in stone, but I think I know what happened here. It looks like there's like a new set of clones coming off the ship, but are those stormtroopers? I think those are stormtroopers, right? Because they had like different helmets, and they kind of passed them, and I was like, I don't know if this is a good sign for you guys.
I believe so. That's the first thing I thought. Also, it looked like kind of looked like those stormtrooper cadet helmets almost that I remember seeing in some episodes of Rebels and stuff like that. So yeah, you're really seeing the changing of the guard here from clone troopers to stormtroopers. Even though the clone troopers are clearly getting the job done, they got their Imperial officer out of there. They ended the governor of that. So now you have full Imperial control. Clones did this, not stormtroopers, but just that's the Empire. It's tyranny through the intimidation of this sheer number of stormtroopers, not in the quality of the soldiers.
Man, imagine this. Okay, imagine this. That Crosshair is a mutated clone, right? They realize that they figure out how to replicate that mutation, and they have a bunch of Crosshairs. Like, can you imagine if if the Empire decided to go with an army of Crosshairs over stormtroopers that don't aim? That changes the entire Star Wars universe from here on out. I mean, I don't know. It's still such a silly decision that they're like, we'll just take anybody to be a stormtrooper.
Well, what if this is the big twist? They tried to use Crosshair DNA to get in there. He switched it. This is his moment where he breaks good, switching it with someone with really bad aim. I don't know, like the worst clone trooper, and that's what he sabotaged their whole system, and that's how they justify why these stormtroopers have bad aim.
But no matter what, a blaster bolt is never going to penetrate the hardest thing in Star Wars. We all know what that is, right? Plot armor.
Well said. Yeah. Okay. So Cody and Crosshair, they have another conversation here. Cody asks Crosshair if he thinks that they're really making the galaxy better. And this is also where we touched on. He talks about the comparison between them and droids. But I think next year Crosshair goes back into Rampart's office, and he's entrusting him with a new mission. And he's like, wait, what happened to Cody? And he's like, Cody went AWOL. Here's my thing, though. They never talked about what his new mission is. He just goes in there. He says, I have a new mission. He's like, what about Cody? He's like, oh, Cody's gone. And then he leaves. I'm like, well, what was the new mission? I guess maybe we'll find out next episode. But you think he would have asked.
Yeah, maybe it's like, go talk to my secretary. They'll give you the deets. Yeah, maybe it was just one of those scenes. It's like the behind the scenes that they just cut for time,
I just kind of thought like in the, again, just still the Empire seizing control over the whole galaxy in these 19-20 years between episode 3 and episode 4. Like maybe it's just like another planet that is saying we're independent. We were never part of the Republic. And it's like, okay, now go take care of them so we can seize control of that. Like that was just my main thought behind that mission.
Yeah. So Tommy, let me ask you this. I'll tell you, I guess I'll lay out the fact that this is my theory. I think Cody's going to become the next Bad Batcher. I think he's going to link up with them. Is that how you look at this? I mean, I think we could see a situation where the Bad Batch is like not only mutated clones, but like outcasted clones that went AWOL. Like, I feel like there's this opportunity for the Bad Batch family to grow. Do you think that's where we're going with this?
I agree, but I think the thing that holds me back is the fact that, like, it's the problem with Star Wars. Certain things, so it's like we've never heard of the Bad Batch in the future, and we've seen rogue clones in Rebels. I don't see so it's like that's where I'm like, I hope so. I hope the Bad Batch stays around and we find out that they've been this thing this entire time. It's just hard because like we've never heard of them before.
Yeah, I mean, like when you think about clones, the only ones you can go to are the three that show up in Rebels, and then even from there on, they made it canon that Rex was at the Battle of Endor, so he makes it the furthest. It's like you don't really hear any other clones. I would think Cody dies like this season or maybe next season, if however they want to continue, whatever their plan is for the Bad Batch long term. But I'm like a lot of people where I would like to see Cody be reunited one more time with Obi-Wan, or like just like maybe say sorry, maybe who knows, maybe he even tries to like fight the urge to like, oh, Jedi must follow orders, kind of like Rex did in season 7 with Ahsoka. I would like to get like some sort of closure for Cody, but you just know something's going to happen to basically all the Bad Batches, even Omega, because we don't hear about them later. But they have a plan. Filoni has a plan. Trust in Filoni.
Also, people said the same thing about Ahsoka, by the way, and Ahsoka's lived very long.
Could Cody die, and that's what gets Crosshair to finally, like, that's the final pin, and then the Crosshair leaving the Empire? I don't know, but I definitely think he joins up with the Bad Batch at some point. Like, I think that I agree with him and all that.
The final cross in the hair, if you will. Okay.
Yeah.
Guys, this was the end of the episode. This was a lot of fun. Danny, thank you so much for doing this with us. Absolute blast to have you here. You seem to like really know your stuff, which is like, a warm welcome here on this podcast. Like Tommy and I, what do we know? Danny, yeah, exactly. I was going to say it out loud, but yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Danny, I want to give you the chance to tell people where they can find you online and everything else you're up to.
Yeah, so I have an Instagram account at Danny Fandoms, and I basically do a lot of Easter eggs there, whether it be movie Easter eggs, show Easter eggs, theme park Easter eggs. I do a little bit of that across several fandoms, Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, Harry Potter, Avatar, DC. I just go down the list there, but I do some unboxings. Like, I'm going to show off something I unboxed recently. Don't react, because, they'll have to come to my page to see it. Just check this out.
Oh, no way. I want that.
Oh, yeah.
No spoilers, but I want that.
Go check out the page. It's really cool.
Yes.
Yeah, so, movie reviews, Easter eggs, unboxings, all at Danny Fandoms on Instagram. And, hey, it was a lot of fun to talk with y'all. Hopefully I get to come back. You need me, call me, because, hey, good soldiers follow orders.
Thank you, Danny. Let me ask you this real quick. I don't know. I must have missed some Avatar content. I gotta know, what do you think of Avatar: Way of Water? Or are you talking about the Airbender?
I love both. I love both Avatars, but no, Avatar: Way of Water. No, I had a lot of fun with that movie. I mean, visually stunning. We already knew we were gonna get that, but to see the story progress a little bit more of an original story than the first one. Everyone says the same stuff. Oh, it's Dances with Wolves, it's Fern Gully, it's Pocahontas, same general structure of a story. And I don't think, because I love all those movies, and guess what? That doesn't make Avatar less than, if you ask me. I mean, because you still have these different characters, you still have this new world, you still have all this lore of the Na'vi and Pandora that's only growing. That we have these water Na'vi coming in and learning about them, and Jake Sully's kids. Oh my gosh, like there's so many good things that I liked. It made me feel for the Tulkun, for even for Coleridge at the end, man. I felt for him. So yeah, I mean, I love diving in to the lore of different worlds. Again, Star Wars, Harry Potter, Marvel, you name it. If it's got a deep backstory with these branches coming out, man, I eat that stuff up. So yeah, I really enjoyed myself with Way of Water.
To be honest, I really asked to call Tommy out. Tommy, you secretly saw this movie without telling me. I found out.
Oh no!
I gotta get your quick takes. I got to.
I was actually just talking to said person at dinner about this.
Yes.
Hey, it was
that person
movie.
Loves this movie and yeah.
I got him to at least see. I got the words from said person. I can see how you think that way, but then I got told why I was. But listen, I think a lot of what Danny said, it was good, visually amazing. My big problem was with Spider, and I think it was hard for me. I had issues there, and it took me out of it at times. But overall, I enjoyed the ride. And to your point of like, I hear, yeah, it's like this story. It's like, every movie is like almost any other movie. There are only so many different stories we can tell. You like the world likes Lion King. Newsflash: Lion King is basically just Hamlet, right? It's just Hamlet. It's fine.
Harry Potter is Star Wars. Okay, I'm just gonna say it.
I was about to say that. Yes.
Yeah, it happens. So I don't think that should be the criticism of the movie. I have other things, but yeah, I think overall, like I would give it like for me, not really a big Avatar fan, like a B plus. B, it's good.
That's fair. One more thing I want to talk about before we close out here. Tommy, there's no way you saw the Ant-Man trailer, right?
No, but I did get spoiled on the one thing. I think. I don't know. I saw something on our Instagram that really spoiled me, I think.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
What did I put?
I don't know.
I just put the poster, I think.
Oh. It was like that on top of seeing... I mean, can I say, hey, if you don't want Ant-Man, I'll say what I think I know.
Okay.
Modorg? He's in? Yeah, I didn't know any of that.
I didn't say that. I did post something about
No, you did, and then I saw something else that like basically I was already like it was like little tingles, and then I was like, oh, this other thing is like confirming it for me. Which I'm not upset about.
I mean, it's an interesting theory you have there that you think MODOK is in the trailer. But Danny, so if you don't know, Tommy does not watch trailers. So that's kind of can you give me real quick, Danny, your spoiler-free trailer review? Did you like the trailer?
Yes, I mean, I used to like try to stay away from trailers. Like I told myself I would watch like the teaser trailer of any movie, whatever it would be, and then I would just put blinders on for the rest of the way until the movie comes out. But since now that I like to talk about it so much, podcast, Instagram, whatever, I watch trailers and I'm looking for little details that are out there that might hint to something bigger. So yeah, I saw the Ant-Man trailer, really enjoyed it, really liked some of the stuff we saw. Obviously they're trying to be tricky. I can see where they're cutting lines here and there to try to make you look one way that they make turn around and do something else in the actual movie. But either way, Quantumania, I'm really excited for that one.
Well, that's the way to do trailers, is to make us think that things are going to happen when they don't and throw us off. Yeah, my favorite part was when MODOK killed Ant-Man in the trailer. That was just wild. Okay. Tom,
listen, but they're not as clever as they think, because look at Eternals. They thought they were tricking us, but it told me exactly what happened.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Okay, final thing we'll talk about here. Tommy, Eternals 2. Did you hear? Apparently it's in pre-production.
I've heard that. Yeah, I heard that, and I'm very excited. Biggest, I think, can we take the title as biggest Eternals podcast fans?
Yeah, there's no one else.
We can take that. Yeah, it's got to be us at this point.
Danny, I keep saying last thing, but thumbs up or thumbs down on it. Are you an Eternals fan?
I really enjoyed Eternals. I like seeing this whole brand new team of superheroes, and you did actually get to spend time with each one. Not really like sometimes when they try to do big team up movies in other places where it's like, oh, like we're gonna spend time with these two. These two are gonna get fleshed out. The 3 or 6 or however many other are just gonna be in the background. But no, like we got to spend time with Druig and see what he's doing. Druig and Makkari are probably my favorites. And then Cersei's like to be a top 3 there. So yeah, I mean, it was really cool. And that movie was also, I thought, visually stunning. Makkari running around the earth and like creating the sonic booms to attack Icarus. We're going to go on a whole nother show talking about Eternals now, but no, I really enjoyed it. Hope to see more Patton Oswalt.
Yes, that's all I care about.
And see what happened, because the Celestial takes them away, some of them away, and you're like, okay, where are they going? And then Eros comes out, like brother of Thanos, and then just cut to black. It's like, no, wait, pull on that thread. Tell me more. I want to know.
Yes. Okay, guys. Thank you for humoring me here at the end. I will close this out. I'd like to remind you guys to rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify, preferably 5 stars. Also, please subscribe because we're going to be here every single week with Bad Batch coverage. And, there's other stuff coming down. We just talked about Ant-Man, Mandalorian's coming down the pike. If you subscribe, you'll get that stuff straight to your phone. You'll get notifications. It's awesome.
Maybe a bonus?
Maybe a bonus.
Been talking?
Yeah.
I don't want
I feel like we have a couple things, a couple ideas.
We have a couple brewing in our slow cooker.
Yeah. Yeah. Cooking them up for you guys. Also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Star Wars Pod. Also ask us for a Discord link because we have a little Discord community going on and we'd love to have you be a part of that. But that is all we got for you guys. Thank you so much for listening and we will see you next time.
Bye.